Sarge, come on, man. You got a big smile on your face. What we got?
Coach, how hard is it to prepare for a team who does so much play action when you're trying to – one of the biggest emphasis that you all had coming into training camp that you preached over and over again was you told the defenders to trust their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're playing against a team like that, what goes into
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously a big challenge for us this week, especially for a team that marries the run game up with the play action very well. Obviously a history of this scheme, being really good at that, from a long time, and obviously coordinator, O-line coach, like run game, senior assistant, all like have a history in the system. So they're doing a really good job just running the system and making the runs marry up with all the play action stuff. So something that obviously we practice and preach a lot, and so a huge challenge for us this week to make sure that our eyes in the right place, and when we're seeing run, we're playing run, and when it's time to get underneath some play action shots, we're doing that as well.
You guys have had some success, some really good success in these first 5 games. When you all go against an opposing offense, what are you hoping that they maybe feel or take away from you guys?
I don't know, man. I think our film speaks for itself. Again, we try to be sound, play hard, be a physical defense, and just let our guys make plays. So, I mean, I don't really think we're trying to send messages or have those guys think anything. I mean, I think we want our film to look clean and what we represent and what we believe in, and playing hard and playing fast and playing physical, and that's what we try to accomplish every week.
During the bye week, what did you learn about your play calling and how you can grow? Is that overblown?
Probably. I don't know. It's only been a couple weeks, so I think the bye week was a little bit more just big picture. It's a little early, bye week, obviously, so just as you put it all together over a little bit of a chunk of the season, over a 5-week season, just what we can do better and where some areas that we can continue to improve in, and and I think messaging to the players of just also showing the good of it, that when we are right and when we're doing things the right way and we're in our eyes in the right spot or whatever that is, that it can look pretty good. So and just an understanding of like as what you put on film as what other teams are looking at in terms of schematic stuff and where maybe they're going to try to attack. I mean, that's really kind of more how we approach things. So I don't think it went into specifically anything calling wise.
When you are calling plays, are you different than D'Amico, or like how are you if you are?
Not really. I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys watching it? I don't know. No, again, I think it's because it's such a collaborative thing, and I know you guys laughing at this. It's just a constant back and forth of communication, especially in between series. Like, hey, okay, what just happened? What are we anticipating next? Or how do we want to change something up? Or how do we want to respond to what happened? So, again, there's just a lot of communication with the whole staff, and again, I really believe that, the calling, it's a culmination of just all that information and all that conversation, and everyone's kind of seeing their areas and what's happening and how we answer that or how we respond or how we coach that up. So it's a collaborative effort, and hopefully it keeps leading to some success.
Jackson Smith-Njigba's playing as well as he's playing.
He is, yeah.
What does it open up for the rest of their offense? What does it allow them to do when he's playing?
Yeah, now obviously they've got like a lot of good skill players. They got a couple good backs. Obviously Cooper's there. 15 can roll. The tight ends are good players. So they've got some other weapons that obviously when he's having such a good season and playing really well and is a focus of their offense, and too much attention there obviously opens up some space for other people. So again, we obviously have to account for him and where he's going to be and how he's playing, how they're utilizing him. But also at the end of the day, we got to play defense, and we're not going to go put 6 guys on him and not cover anybody else. So every week we see good players and have good challenges of how we're going to stop different types of players, and this is another one for us. So hopefully we can handle that.
What's your assessment of how your safeties have played the last couple weeks?
Yeah, they've been good. Again, I think we just ask those guys to play in the system, play in the schemes, play in the right spots, and be erasers when ball gets out. We've limited long runs. We've only had one 20-plus yard run this year. I think that's part of it too. If it does get through the first couple waves, that those guys are securing tackles and getting people down and staying over the top. So feel happy with how that rotation's been working.
Y'all both have good defenses, but y'all kind of attack differently on the D-line. They use a lot of stunts. Y'all are near the bottom in stunts. What goes into the decision of whether or not to use stunts?
Yeah, I I don't know if I haven't really watched their defense, if I'm being honest, so I can't speak to how they play. But, just for us, again, it's just I think I've talked about this before as we look at, approaching protections. At the end of the day, we have good players at a starting point. So, we want those guys to be able to go perform and shine. And so, week to week, you're looking at protections and at, again, specific players in the O-line and how you can attack those, whether that, calls for movements or pressures or patterns or whatever that is. So I think that's just a week-to-week thing in terms of, do we like our matchups? Do we just want our guys to be able to go work? What looks good against this protection? Can we predict these protections and how, what's effective against them? So, at the end of the day, we like our front and we like our players and we want them to just go be good players for us. So sometimes that just means let them go win some run-on-ones.
From a philosophy standpoint, when you think about whether you're in a shadow, not shadow, what are some things that kind of go into that, and what are some of the talents of Derek Stingley Jr. to make sometimes that a good decision?
Sorry, the last part again?
What are some of the skills of Derek Stingley Jr. that sometimes maybe warrant, hey, we're going to do that?
Yeah, obviously Sting's a good cover corner, one of the best in the league, but we feel really good about Kamara's skill set there too. So, sometimes it's matchups and sometimes it's specific types of receivers and what that skill set is or what we think is just the best definition. But again, sometimes that's detrimental to running a guy across the field or waiting to find out who's coming out of the huddle and where you're tracking them and playing on other sides and things like that. And then there's tempo. This team will get on the ball and run some tempo on you. So, there's just a lot of decisions as you go week to week of, again, every week we're just trying to make the best decision of how do we deploy our guys properly and give us the best chance to win the ball game.
I don't know. Go ahead, Sergeant.
Yeah, we're having fun.
Coach, you talk about Kamari after the last game. We were interviewing him in the locker room, and he was talking about.
How was that?
He said he was happy that you all got the win.
Thank
He
good.
was happy that he got the interception. He said, but he started rattling off plays that he missed, and he said, "Hey, I got to lock in. I got to lock in because I got to do better. I got to do better." You've been around the league for a while. Have you ever seen anybody with that type of mindset like Kamari in the way that he plays?
Well, those are kind of two different questions because I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of people that are like Kamari, but I think our locker room's filled a lot of guys that are like that. And I think our defense has a high standard for how we play and what our expectations are. And those guys feed into that and believe in that, you know what I mean? And so that they're hypercritical of the win was great or this and that, but man, can it be even better? Where can we get better? Can we make one more play? Can we get one more third down stop? I think all those guys are like that, and I think that's, when you want to be good or great or whatever elite defense, then you have to have that mentality, and I think Kamari embodies that for sure. But I think there's a lot of guys in our locker room that will go look at their tape and say, man, I could have done, I had 5 tackles and a sack and this and that, but man, what if I missed this one or I took a bad step on this play and I could have had another TFL or whatever that is. I think that's just the mentality we try and preach, man. No one's going to be perfect. None of us are, but we're chasing it. We're chasing perfection, and we'll see if we get there someday. I don't know.
I don't know how much film you've watched of Sam over his career, but obviously he's evolved a lot.
Sure.
Have you noticed anything in particular with him that's allowed
Yeah,
him to
he's
have
playing
success?
at a really high level. I was actually in Miami when he was a rookie in New York, so I've kind of been a little bit on a journey with him through time. Man, just operating at an elite level from a just ball out decision making, throws there, he's taking it. The shots that they're taking, he's obviously pushing the ball down the field to JSN and those other guys. I just think and a lot of times these guys, I feel like there's a lot in the league now, quarterbacks that have kind of grown through their career and come into being really good players, and for whatever reason, and early in their career, whether ups and downs, that's probably natural for rookies in general, but he's operating at a really high level, extremely elite level. It's going to be a big challenge for us to go against him. He's decision making and getting the ball out of his hands is at a very, very high level right now.
I don't know if you can answer this, but is there a way you
No, we
would
can't.
be able to attack him easily when he was a rookie and younger versus now just
Well, I think just all of us, right? I think just some of the stuff that you can maybe, I don't want to say fool him on or just coverage things and stuff. He's seen a lot, right? You play a lot of football. It's not just him, anybody. You're growing and playing football, and you have a history of stuff that you see, and now I can see a rotation better. I've seen that coverage before, or whatever it is, or just I think he's obviously playing with a lot of confidence. He trusts in his players and his teammates, and so again, for him to just he's dissecting things at a really high level right now. So it's going to be a big challenge for us.
With
outside zone scheme that they run and them being so committed to running the ball, how key is being sure in tackling this week?
Yeah.
It seems like D'Amico said you've made a lot of improvements in that area so far.
We have, and I know he mentioned, just coming off the bye week and just obviously, like, I don't want to say rust, but just getting back into that flow state of being there. And again, they're a very committed run team. I think they're one of the top in the league at in terms of run percentage. Like, again, this system is predicated on that. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us, just not just the tackling part, but like setting edges. It's obviously because it's such an outside zone wide team. Like they've gone against this front. This scheme has gone against this defensive front a lot in the past, and so the sort of tools and tricks they use to capture edges are going to be in full play here. And so we have to set edges. We have to close from the backside, and we have to tackle and get there. Walker is a really good cutback runner and a bounce runner. I mean, they're really good. So we got to be good in our perimeter and making sure we're sure tacklers. Sure, guys.
When you go into a bye week, what is your goal to accomplish?
Yeah, first of all, to assess what's happened up to that point. So fundamentally, schematically, obviously assessing where a roster is, that's the goal. And then the goal, big picture wise, is to put things together and be able to clean things up, learn from any mistakes or issues that we had in the past, and then be able to, chart the course forward. So that's what we're trying to do, and it's typically what we do on a bye week.
Offensive football, what do you feel like are some things that you guys are doing a lot better? Yeah. And what do you think you can do to expand on that?
Yeah, I think we've executed better. We've gone forward more consistently. We haven't beat ourselves nearly as much. We played with better fundamentals. So I think we've given ourselves a chance to, play on time, to be efficient, and to operate the game plan, the way that we, genuinely intended to do so.
Knowing that it's been 2 weeks, it'll be 2 weeks in a day since the last time you guys have played.
Yep.
Is there any feeling of wanting to get things started quickly, knowing that it's been such a long period between games?
Sure. I mean, yeah, sure. So, we had practice, obviously. You had one practice over the bye week. We end up coming back. We get together this week. Yeah, you want to get things back to normalcy, and you want to get going. We want to start every game fast, so you want to start practice fast. You want to be efficient. You want to have positive plays, and I don't think that changes, coming off a bye week. Obviously, I think we're all anxious and ready to go out there and actually play some football again. So, it's been a good week so far, and we just got to keep it going.
CJ's mentioned, as you guys have gotten into the season, hey, we do this really well, let's do this more. Hey, maybe this isn't working. What kind of goes into that conversation between you and the players? And then ultimately, is it up to you to say, hey, we'll just leave this in this part of the playbook,
Sure.
We'll focus on this?
Yeah, I think, you assess after every game going into it. You got your plan, and then sometimes things get off the beaten path a little bit. You try to stay on course by playing clean football. But like anything else, what we try to do is when you assess what's worked and what hasn't worked maybe as well as you'd like to, you try to find out the why to that, and you dig. And then ultimately it's up to our staff and ultimately myself to be able to, through discussions, obviously with D'Amico too, but being able to go through and see where we can go moving forward and do the things that, we do well and expand those things. And, I think it's a learning process like anything else. But again, the most important thing I think that's helped us over the last couple games for sure is that we've played cleaner. We've stayed on time, and on schedule. And I think you give yourself a chance to truly execute and utilize your game plan.
Kind of to both of those points, when you do have an early bye week and it was as bad as it was early and then you did see some success, do you just hammer home what you did well, or do you make more wholesale changes than you normally would?
No, I don't think we changed the whole process a whole lot. I think each week's its own deal. I think that you look through the first couple games, you look through the last couple games, and I think the biggest thing is just trying to figure out the why if things don't go well, and then why did things happen positively for you, and you go from there. I don't think you overlook it any other way than that and try to have a clean slate and an open mind to those things and just be honest with yourselves. And I think we're continuing to build our team. We're continuing to learn who we are through the first month and change of the season, and I think that's just the course. We got to play good football. We got to take care of the football. We got to play on time, and we got to just keep continuing to get better and improving as we get going each week and each day. And that's what we're trying to do, is just focus on that and be process oriented from that standpoint.
Nick, the way that CJ's processing and seeing the field right now, what are you seeing from when you take kind of that big picture look at kind of the way Stroud's playing?
He has seen the field well. Like, he sees the game the right way. He's into it. And I think he just being able to establish a rhythm, being able to play good and play, not be in long yardage situations like we were, obviously early in the season more than we ever wanted to be. So his approach and process really hasn't changed drastically. He's been consistent and steady. I think we just collectively have to play, consistent football, and that's the best thing we can do to help ourselves, and is getting off on the right start, to your question earlier. But he's been consistent and steady as a person.
One hat all season? I mean, is it super?
No. I probably need to throw this. I got two hats actually. They look the same, but no. I get into it. I get a little bit of superstition when it comes to the stuff just a little bit. My wife would say the same thing.
Coach, throughout training camp and preseason, a lot of the players said that the one thing that they loved about your system was you use their skill set to not only to your advantage but to the team's advantage in order for them to be successful on the field. But you can only see so much in training camp and so much in preseason.
Right.
Throughout these first 5 weeks that you all have been on the field, what have you noticed more? Because even Xavier Hutchinson, said that the play that you called for him to get his first, career touchdown was something that you implemented.
Yeah, I think, you assess everything starting in spring, okay? I think we find out, just by being together and having time on task a little bit more about each other. And I think the whole purpose and the goal, it is players over plays. I mean, we all generally run similar plays. There's different structures and different systems and stuff like that for sure. But I think, it's what do guys do well? And that changes, again, from week to week and year to year, team to team. But you always want to try to allow those guys to be put in a position to utilize their skill set. And we'll always do that. I mean, and I said this before, and I'm not trying to, go back to it, but like when I was a defensive backs coach, it was the same exact deal. It didn't change what side of the ball you're on. You're trying to find out the strengths of the guys that you have. You're trying to put them in position to best have success, to help our team have success. And I think just the more time you have on task, the more opportunities you have to see what maybe little wrinkles guys can do, or what compliments, maybe a receiver can do off of certain routes that he's already been pretty good at, that, can be change-ups, or certain run schemes that maybe a back might have a good feel for, or, and some guys develop into having a better feel for certain things. So I think it's just time on task and being able to have more exposure to those guys. And it's been healthy for us. We just got to keep it moving in that direction.
You've faced Seattle the last couple of years.
Yep.
With the Rams in the overtime game last year. What are the challenges maybe that their defense presents, as well as just the atmosphere as a whole?
Yeah, well, they're extremely well coached. Mike does a great job. I think they have a really, really, really good defensive grouping in terms of, at every level, really disruptive. They play with great energy. They're a really talented outfit. And then you talk about the environment. I mean, it's a great environment for football. It's loud. It's a ruckus environment. They get into it. So, for a Monday night game, especially a primetime game, if you love football, I mean, it's going to be an outstanding atmosphere to go play a football game in. And, I mean, it's a great place, and it's a loud environment, and it's a talented team that's very well coached. Got a lot of respect for them.
How do you simulate that anyway? A couple of players in the locker room yesterday were saying we're trying to simulate.
Yeah.
How do you get them prepared for that?
You are clean with communication. I got to get the play calls in. We got to get back to the huddle. We got to communicate. We got to break the huddle. We got to play. We got to be efficient with what we're doing. Stay on track in terms of execution, and crank as much noise as you possibly can where it's deafening. Okay, where you got to be able to treat it as game like as possible, and you go there. But starting fast, doing a good job communicating, and and starting to execute so we can get on track. Those are the biggest things.
When it comes to your running backs, is it a game plan situation, decide who gets what opportunities in certain plays? Is it changing in the course of the game? How do you go about figuring out which running back fits better?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, I mean, we've got a lot of confidence in all the guys in there, and we'll roll them in there, and DB does a great job with those guys. There might be some specific things, especially early on, that we might, whether it's trying to make sure we're not getting too lopsided with volume of reps and stuff like that. So you try to balance those things off. That could be a series by series deal. It could be a quarter deal. And then, there are some guys that might have a better feel as you get going with certain things. But generally speaking, we have faith in really the guys we have in the room to be able to roll in there and, on really all three downs, to be honest with you. So you've seen that. They've all played in those situations, especially, Nick and Woody too, those two. But, it's generally speaking, it's we have a lot of faith in both those guys. Not obviously Dare's played, as well too there, and in British in his own role as well.
Go ahead.
it seems like they're going to get back some of their secondary for this matchup. Just kind of what are the challenges that guys like Reek Woolen and Devin Witherspoon present?
Yeah, they're good players. Good movement skills, good length. They play the ball very well. They're aggressive. They played a lot of football. They've been disruptive in terms of, whether it's PBUs, interceptions, et cetera. Obviously Spoon's got good flexibility. He's a really good player. They both are. So they're a talented secondary. They're talented on all three levels, really. And so got to play at our best and be at our best when that's required.
Last two, Jonathan, sorry. Nick, if you may ask this, sorry, but do you have like a personal story of your interactions with like Xavier Hutchinson, or do you recall the first time you knew like he could possibly be involved in the offense at a higher level than before?
Yeah, I mean, so we had training camp here. We had joint practices when I was in Los Angeles a year ago. So we got an opportunity to come down here and practice against him. So I was a graduate assistant at Iowa State. This is not really a connection with him, but I was a GA at Iowa State 2009, 10, and 11. So I have an affinity, or I've tracked those guys over the years. So I was aware of him, obviously, as a player through the pre-draft process. And then the first phone call, I ever made to him after I got hired here, he had such great energy about him. He's got such a great energy about him. And then you see him out here working. He's a tireless worker, and I have an appreciation for that just day in and day out. He hasn't changed, and I appreciate that, and I know we appreciate that. So do I have a specific story? No, but I mean, he's a Cyclone. I have a master's degree from Iowa State, so I was aware of him when I first came here. But the guy works his ass off, and really happy for him. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. I really do.
We talk about the communication between you and CJ and some of the other offensive players, but what has that communication been like between you and Cole Popovich? It seems like the offensive line is starting to play better over these last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been great. Cole and I shared a cubicle right across from each other back in New England back in the day. I have a lot of respect for him. Not only is he's a friend, but I mean he's an excellent football coach, and he's a tough coach. That's how he coaches. That's how he drills. He's highly intelligent, and we have dialogue. I mean, throughout every single day. Really blessed to have an opportunity to be here with him and get to reunite with him, and got a lot of respect. And those guys are continuing to get better. And they are a tough team, a tough outfit up front. So, yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Let me know if this joke lands. If anybody in the city of Houston is looking for a little caffeine, come up to the special teams office. We'll sponsor you an energy drink or something so you stay up for this one. All right? No. Okay.
What's your favorite energy drink?
Black coffee. Believe it or not. Black coffee. Yeah. Hi, guys. Good to see you. All right. So to me, I don't care about rankings. I don't care about statistics. I watch the tape. And Seattle has done an unbelievable job. I've never gotten to face Jay Harbaugh, who is the nephew, obviously, of John's, coach for him, the son of Jim, okay, coach for him, Michigan, all the things. And what's unique about Seattle's special teams is that they use a lot of offensive players. They are a game plan team, so every week they're moving their parts around, tailoring it. It's not a form fill and then they play hard. That's not what it is. And then they have their wrinkles. So for us, to me, I look at it, it's the best special teams unit we faced this far, and I'm watching these crossover tape. You can argue they're the top in the league right now. So that's not smoke. That's what I'm seeing on the tape. And a great kicker, top-paid punter in the league, dynamic return men. I mean, they're leading the kick returns out, raw starting points. So we're going up for Monday Night Football. You know how exciting that is, but, like, that place is going to be, like, hectic. And for us, we've got to make sure it is a nullified return every time we go out there and cover. Our return, we got to be on it. Stop their most dynamic players. Brady Russell, Jake Bobo, dynamic returner, and Derike Young, guys, rookie returner, Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. Like, we have to be on it and excited for the challenge to go up against one of the NFL's best so far this year. Take your questions.
With that said, they're at the top of the rankings, like, of special teams. Does that – I know that you want to do the same thing every week. You want to win that battle, but does it elevate maybe the competitiveness of you and your group to say, we're going against one of the best, let's win the battle?
Yeah, I always speak it as honestly as I can to the room. Honestly, I walk up and I say, hey, here's what we're going against, and I'll try to emphasize the units that are the parts or pieces that are really challenging every week. And the only thing in the world that matters to me right now is my family and being 3-3. That is it. So whatever it takes every week, that's how I attack it. And so, like, we have got to find a way to attack whatever units in front of us that day. This week at Seattle, across the board, they're going to know, my guys in our room are going to know how dynamic they can be and where we really have to be on our game. So whether it motivates them or not, to me, it's the NFL is show up every single week. Just a little, added motivation is, man, we got to get to 3-3. That's what matters the most, is win this freaking game. Man, that was it. You guys good? Thank you.
I thought Aaron was going to go. But, Coach, you talked about the way that they throw in different types of wrinkles. How do you coach your team to stay disciplined and be able to recognize that?
I had a unique kind of meeting for that exact question. It's poignant. I had a unique kind of way to frame that in our guys' minds, and was when you're going against somebody that disguises well, first thing is you have to play football to your fundamentals. Like, your rules will be challenged, but do you know your rules well enough for, say, punt protection or how you're going to cover on a kickoff lane? Do you know your rules well enough and play to that at perfect optimized efficiency? All right? When you then study it hard, watch every single rep as much as you can. Hopefully it's being emphasized correctly by the coach. That's my job, right? And then they can see that light bulb quickly when it happens. They say, there it is. That's what we were talking about, that stem, that player aligned on the kickoff team in a certain area, this returner, not that returner, being used for any player we're going against, or any team we're going against. So to find that little hint, you really got to know your opponent. And that's every week. But it just so happens Seattle's really good at disguising those better than most. So we've got to be on it, and excited to see if our guys can pick that out and really identify the picture on Monday night.
For the guys, for everybody that's adjusting to the time difference and it's a late game, any thoughts on kind of the circadian rhythms, things that you try to do to kind of get ready for that and to be amped up like you are when you hit the podium here?
Be a red-blooded football player, man. Go. They put the ball down and let's go. That's it. I don't care when, where, doesn't matter. Put the ball down, kick it off, and let's go. You guys good? Come on, bring it.
You have Kaimi has kicked in some different types of weather situations. So has Tommy, but up there it's totally different than what either one of them are probably used to. And the weather's supposed to be a little rainy, drizzly, and things like that. How do you prepare them to go into those type of conditions?
Yeah, and who knows what it'll end up being. Have only been there one time. It was my first NFL game coaching, actually, in 2018. So haven't really been there since. And whatever it is out there, you're relying on the professionalism and the experience of those individual specialists, Kaimi and Tommy, to adjust quarter to quarter. But it really starts in your pregame process. And for us, you can't replicate, but no different than somebody else trying to replicate coming to Houston in the heat, as an example. So, it's the NFL. You're going to play all across the country. It's exciting. It's part of the charm of what we do for a living, and excited to whatever challenge may come our way, weather included. Okay, see you guys.
Thanks, Coach.